All right, so we're on day 15 of the Weight of the Badge. Spent the last couple days talking about the garage, about refocusing, reframing. Today's going to be quick. Trying to knock this one out fast. So today we're going to talk about fear. Why don't we ask for help? Why don't we reach out to folks when we see they need help? And why don't we basically do a lot of stuff in life that we are faced with? It all comes back to fear. We don't ask for help out of fear of losing our badge, being labeled as weak, being called broken. We don't reach out to those that we see need help out of fear that they're going to tell us they do, out of fear that they're going to say, I'm struggling and I don't want to be here anymore. It's fear of not knowing what to say or how to respond. Yet, in our jobs every day, we run into danger. We run towards gunfire, into burning buildings, into towers. Those of you that may be watching in the military, every day you're deployed, you're running into something. We're afraid. Anybody that tells you they're not's full of shit. But we do it. So then why is it that we don't attack these things in front of us? Part of it could be because administrations in many places haven't made it easy to do, which still boggles my mind. I'm very fortunate, as I said before, where I work. Across the board in our county, they've stepped up this year and last year. I know people from several counties that have done that, and a lot of it had to do with the numbers from last year. So we've all got different aspects of this fear that we need to tackle. Yeah, your agency might not make it easy to do. Yeah, you might get labeled. But at the end of the day, you're alive. Asking for help and taking that step, that is the damn hardest thing to do. Everything else from that point is cake compared to that. Taking that first step and telling somebody you're struggling, that is, it's like climbing Mount Everest. It is the hardest piece of this that you're going to have to do. Don't get me wrong, the rest of it is hard. The daily struggle, it's rough. But you got to get through that first step first. It's hard to walk up to somebody and ask them if they're okay when you see they're struggling. "18 years of doing peer support, never one of them that was easy. Not one, because you never know what the response is going to be. You never know where they're coming from. You may have been through somewhat of a similar situation, but as I've said before on here, everyone's different. It can be a shooting. You may have been involved in a shooting, but you aren't going to respond the way they did. And I can sit here and preach to you to face your fear, but I'd be lying to you if I told you every time that I faced it that I did the right thing. Every time I was afraid of something, I stepped up to it, because I haven't. But it's one of the things we need to look at. We need to look at this across the board. Yeah, this is about awareness and it's about getting people to talk. But talking about it doesn't do us any good if we can't take action when we need to. And that's from the top down. If you're watching this and you're one of the high ups, look at why you're not addressing this issue. If you're not, look at how much money you put into your agency, whether it's equipment, weapons, ammo, whatever it may be. How much money are you putting into that? How much money are you putting into your folks? So I guarantee you, while the dollar signs may be, it may look big on paper when you're buying vehicles and when you're buying weapons and you're doing all that stuff, it may look big. The amount you're going to pay by losing an officer, there's that dollar sign you can put on that. That's going to ripple through your agency. It's going to ripple through your community. We've saw it last year 200 plus times. Why don't we tackle it? Fear. Whether it's fear of being the first person to do it, it's fear of liability. I get that. We have to look at things for liability for the agency. But your people shouldn't be a liability. They have your back every day. They're the ones that make the agencies, whether it's police, fire, ECC, EMTs, they're the ones that do the work. They're the ones that make your agency successful. So why aren't you putting as much effort and money into them as you brought all the equipment to the training? And I'm not making this to harp on the higher ups. This is across the board. This is rookies starting in the academy all the way up. We should be training people in the academy from day one, no matter what the field is, about what they're going to face, about the reality of the job. Have them prepared so when they encounter some bad shit, they know what to expect. You need to build resiliency from day one, and it needs to continue all the way through. From day one till the day they retire And beyond that, don't forget about your retirees either. How many times have you had somebody leave, never to be heard from again? 25 years of your life, 30 years of your life, that should matter for something. We need to look at what it is we fear. And not just on this, but every aspect of our life. How many people do you know that are not first responders, or maybe they are first responders, that don't take chances in life out of fear? Majority of the time, what you're fearing, what you're imagining the outcome is going to be, nowhere near. Our minds have this wonderful way to trick us into always thinking the worst is going to happen. When you look at the people that have been the biggest successes in their fields, how many times have they failed? Over and over and over again. And what did they do? They got back up off their ass and they got after it again. Why are you afraid? For me, everything I do, I have got the biggest fear of failure because I hate it. I am my own harshest critic, and I hate failing at things, but I fail over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I got to record these videos half the time. Whether it's the dog walking, going whichever way she's going, whatever the reason. And, these still are a mess. I just get tired of doing them over again. But you have to learn to take those fears and those failures and find a way, whatever it is for you, find a way to learn from them. Nobody was ever successful from day one and became this huge success and had everything they wanted, found the love of their life, made $1 million. Nobody does that shit. Turn your television off, get out of La La Land, and look at why you really fear what you don't want to do. We need to be better for our people that give us 110% every day. We need to be better to our brothers and sisters. When they're struggling, we need to be there. And when we're struggling, we need to be better to ourselves. We need to know when to say, I need a break. We need to know when to say, I need help. This is not just the top of your agency. This is from you to the guy next to you, the girl on the other side, all the way up the chain. How many times have you seen a story about somebody that completed suicide and everybody response is, I never saw it coming. And I don't doubt that they didn't. I know when I told my story at the beginning of this year to my department, I had so many people come up to me and say, I had no idea. And I would like to think that I'm a damn good actor, but I don't think that's the case. My thought is this: I think that when we have friends or family, we always want to think the best. We don't ever want to imagine that they're struggling. And even if we notice they are, we always want to think, oh, they'll get out of it, they'll be good, they'll get through it. Probably just having a bad day. Take the time and ask. We need to be better, all of us, to ourselves, to our brothers, to our sisters, to our families, to our children, and to our agencies. Our agencies need to be better to the people that do the work. If you've never read about servant leadership, take an hour, look into it. Especially if you're at the top of an agency, if you're in the command staff, do yourself a favor and look at it. The leaders in your agency are those men and women that are on the line every day. And you need to be better for them. We need to be better to one another. We need to be better for ourselves. And all of us that are helpers that want to reach out and help everybody, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else, because they're going to see right through your bullshit. Just take a few minutes and reflect on that. How can I be better? How can I face my fears? And why am I afraid? Take care of yourselves. Be safe. To all the men and women that are out protecting this country, that serve in our military, God bless you. This weekend is not about having parties. It's not about having barbecues. It's about those men and women who have sacrificed so that we can be free and we can enjoy all that this great country provides us. So remember them this weekend while you're sitting, having a barbecue, having a beer, sitting at the beach, whatever it is. Remember the men and women that made that possible for you. When you see a man or a woman in uniform, thank them for their service. It's because of them you're able to do all the stuff you're able to do. When you see an officer, a firefighter, an EMT, or a dispatcher, thank them for what they do. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night.